All right, what's happening, everybody? I hope everybody is doing well. My intent today is not to upset anybody or to create any unnecessary distress. But my feelings are this. If people are going to put stuff out there like this, then you know what? They're opening themselves up to scrutiny. And that's exactly what I'm going to give them today. And I actually know this guy. I've actually met him personally. But the question today is, regardless of our relationship, the real question is, are court cases traded? Let's go.
How exactly these court cases get pooled and traded.
Oh, tell us.
So let me enlighten you. We're going to read from this dictionary today.
Wait a minute. You're going to go from a dictionary and tell... I don't know.
The word we'll be going over today is derivative. And we'll go into the specifics right here on the next page. Derivative securities are what they're trading. Derivative securities are bond-like securities created when pools of loans and mortgages are packaged and sold to investors and are another type of derivative widely used. So exactly like what happened in 2008, the banks were pooling all these mortgages together and then trading them. And when they valued them incorrectly, the market crashed. Now they're doing the same thing with court cases, and the court system's coming down too. We're coming for you.
Wow, that's a pretty bold statement. Well, so are court cases actually being traded like stocks and derivatives? I'm going to tell you honestly, I've researched this, and the answer is no. Believing that a court, and believing that in court can seriously hurt you, because that's a distraction. Anytime there's a distraction, they're there to distract you, just like I got one right now. Anyway, so let's break this down with some law and facts. First, derivatives are real. They're financial instruments that are based on underlying assets like mortgages, and that's what contributed to the 2008 financial crisis. So that part he is correct about. But hey, man, you could have read that from Time Magazine and been quoting that. That's like not any new information. And so that part of it is actually true, but maybe he didn't read the whole article, because this is where his whole story really falls apart. Court cases are not financial instruments. Nuh-uh. They're absolutely not, because they already perform, and they're not in the middle of performing. They're legal proceedings. They're not assets, they're not securities, and they're not tradable on any market. And there's no law or statute or financial system that allows lawsuits to be pooled and sold like mortgage-backed securities. See, and I think that's where the real illusion is here, to be honest with you. And what the law actually says, under 1 U.S.C. Title I, the term person includes both individual and legal entities, not just corporations. Jurisdiction comes from law, not contracts, not wordplay. Now there's some legalese in there, and I mean there is some kind of wordplay in there, sort of, but it's just, yeah, you gotta balance that stuff, man. And federal courts derive their authority from statutes like 28 U.S.C. 1331. And state courts derive, yeah, they definitely do that. Anyway, they derive their authority from their own constitution and laws. The definition of court, okay, is something that he talks about in 28 U.S.C. 3002, and it applies only to a specific federal statute, and it doesn't turn state courts into tax courts. A lot of people believe that. I don't know if he said that in particular, but I know a lot of that gets thrown around, so why not? I'll throw it in there too. In criminal cases, courts operate under constitutional protections like the 6th Amendment, the right to counsel, and the 14th Amendment under due process. And this is where you have to understand, like, you can't just walk in and say, hey, that's illegal. And that's that. Because it's not really illegal until someone goes through the due process and exercises the due process to make it legal or illegal. And that's the genius. Well, I guess that's a part of due process. Anyway, and that's why judges will ask your name and whether or not you want an attorney. It's procedure. It's not a trap. It doesn't, turn you into, the legal fiction or a piece of stone or anything like that, which is what a lot of these fear guys like to put in your heads. It's silly. Anyway, yes, these things are like litigation, funding assets, funding or assignment judgments, but it's not the same as trading court cases as securities. So the bottom line here really is this, you guys. If you walk into court thinking that your name is a contract, the court is secretly a tax court, or your case is being traded on the market, you're relying on arguments that courts have repeatedly rejected. And I mean, like a lot. Okay, this is all over, and I mean, you don't have to open the law books to look this stuff up. It's like all over the law books. It's everywhere. I mean, it's all over YouTube too. Anyway, this content is for educational purposes only. And if you want to learn how to properly handle these traffic stops, understand real procedure, and you've got a situation, a court situation, okay? I don't give legal advice, but I got a lot of experience, and I've got about 30 years experience of doing this stuff. So just comment travel and driving. I have a class. We'll break all this stuff down. I'll show you how to deal with small little things like tickets, like what he's talking about, all the way up to 1983 lawsuits, RICO claims, things like that. I've actually done those things. And if you guys are interested in learning how they're done and how they're done properly, so you can have a good understanding, just comment travel and driving at the bottom, and I'll be in touch soon. Be blessed, everybody.